Shalom, brothers and sisters. This is Brother Yosef. I want to come back to you with another wisdom video today. This time, hitting it from a different angle. Alright, I know a nice amount of wisdom videos in the past. I would mainly stick within the Torah of wisdom, the four main wisdom books, the instructions of wisdom. But this time, I'm going to pull from some experiences of our ancient forefathers, and I'm going to give you some of my personal experiences as well, because wisdom not just comes, of course we already know this already, you've been maybe paid attention to these teachings long enough. You know that wisdom doesn't just come by the knowledge within the page of the book, but it also comes from experience as well. And that's why it's so important to be around the age and the wise men. Alright, but I'm gonna go ahead and share with you today some wisdom from the scriptures and some practical wisdom from myself and from some other people on giving you some advice on some things that you need to pay attention to before you go try to move to another state or to another country, all right, or to another town or whatever it may be, that you can glean from this wisdom right here that I'm about to share with you in the scriptures. All right, so let's go to the book of Numbers chapter 13. Numbers chapter 13, like I told you, we're not starting this off just with Proverbs and the book of Sirach today. We're going to come from a different angle. But let's look at what Moses had to do. All right. Now, many of us, we ascribe, and it's a nice amount of our brothers and sisters now, they are talking about going to Africa. All right. It's a nice amount of them. We talk about moving to different parts of Africa, Israel. People have went to Dimona. People went to Tel Aviv, Tel Arad. You have people that went to, people are trying to go to Ghana and Gambia and Tanzania and all different other type of places, all right? And which are great things and great ideas. And these may be some places that I may be personally going to visit first, all right? And then, possibly, it might be something I might have to do in the future. And I know a lot of people are moving because they're talking about this being spiritual Babylon over in America, which I'm going to get to that here later on in the scriptures. But I personally made a move here myself just recently. For those of you that are real close to me, you already know this, of what state I moved to. But this was a real big move that I had to make. I mean, I'm talking about, I thought about this move every single day for, I want to say almost a year straight, maybe 7 or 8, 9 months straight of thinking about this big move that I had to make. Now, some people, when they know where I moved to, they're like, well, that wasn't a big move. To me, it was a big move because the first time I moved, this is not the very first time I moved to another state. But the first time, I didn't have all the people that I was bringing with me this time. All right, I was easily able to go by myself to another state. But this time I was bringing a family with me. All right, so I had to pay attention to some things so that I didn't make the wrong decision. And as we have got to this place now, and the Most High has been showing fruit from this already, I truly believe 1,000% that this was the place that I was supposed to be at. All right, so let's continue though. Let's go to Numbers chapter 13. Numbers chapter 13. And we're going to start at verse number 1. It said, and Yah spake unto Moses, saying, send thou men that they may search the land of Canaan, which I give unto the children of Israel. Of every tribe of the fathers shall you send a man, every one a ruler among them. So the very instructions that the Most High, this is not Ak Yosef's instructions, this is the instructions that the Most High gave to Moses, and I'm praying that we can all hearken to these instructions before we go make a move and move ourselves, move our families to a place that we could probably end up regretting if the Most High is not with it. What did the Most High tell Moses? He said, send thou men, verse number 2, that they may search the land of Canaan. If you are and if you're thinking about going to a land and going to a place, you need to go and visit that place first. All right? Go and search the land. Go and search that new city that you are so passionate about moving to. All right? Go search that country that the Most High is leading you to. All right, I got one of my ox. He's been back and forth to Nigeria, and he's opening up a gateway. He's blazing a trail, if you will, for others to go to Nigeria. All right, but he went to search the land first. Go and search the land. Some of our people are blindly moving to different states, moving out of the country just because they're following somebody on YouTube, because something may sound good. The instructions that the Most High gave Moses was to go search the land. One of my brothers in the state that I used to live in, all right, I was in a congregation that I was teaching in a few years ago, and a nice amount of the brothers that came to that congregation was from different states. So I was able to get experience from these individuals on how they even came to meet where we all met at in that congregation. And one of my brothers, him and his Ishai, his wife, all right, before they moved to that area, they came and they searched out the land. They searched the city. They came and they spent 4 or 5 days there. They drove through the state. They drove through the areas. They was going to see which cities or which places made them feel good. Sometimes that's an indication from the Most High. When something makes you feel good, sometimes in the spiritual realm, that could be where the Most High wants you to be at. And in my situation, it lined up perfectly, because this state that I'm in now, all right, this place that I'm in now, when I used to ride through this state, I've been riding through this state now for about 12 years, off and on. And it's like every single time, with the maybe exception of one, every single time I have rolled through this state, I have felt an overwhelming good feeling. I would go and try to explain this to individuals and tell them about this overwhelming feeling. I would get a gut feeling. And it wasn't a bad gut feeling, it was a good gut feeling, it was a peaceful gut feeling. And I would try to explain this to individuals, and the majority of people couldn't understand where I was coming from. And then there were some individuals that said that is the Ruach. That's dealing with you. That's the Holy Spirit. That's where you're supposed to be at. So, 12 years later, I'm in this place right now. I just moved down here. All right? So, one of my brothers said he searched out the land. He spied it out. He went to go check out some homes. He said the very first house that he went to, he knew that was the place. He felt it. He searched out the land first, though. So even though he felt it on the first house, he still went to go visit 4 or 5 other different places just to be able to do the activity and have something to compare it to. All right? And that ended up being this house. My situation, I was down here. I searched out this state. And I didn't just come for 4 or 5 days. I came back and forth to this state for about 10 different weekends. Coming back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Over and over and over again. I say 10, it may be 8. It may be 8 or 9 weekends. It seemed like it probably was 10. I came down here so much. I was back and forth, back and forth. I started because I didn't know the actual city that I was supposed to be in. All I knew and I felt was that I was supposed to come to this certain state. So what I did was I drove around a nice portion of this state. I went to one area of the state, and I'm getting too ahead of myself. Let me get back to the scriptures, and then I can share some more thoughts as I go. All right, so we see that the Most High gives a command, go and search out the land. And I'm telling you the same thing. This is wisdom for you. If you're about to move somewhere, go and search it out. It's a few exceptions to that rule, which I will share with you at the end of this message, all right? So let's continue, though. Numbers chapter 13 and verse 17, it said, and Moses sent them to spy out the land of Canaan, and said unto them, get you up this way southward, and go up into the mountain, and see the land, what it is, and the people that dwell therein, whether they be strong or weak, whether they be few and many. So Moses told them, go spy out the land and see what the land is. Some of you want to go buy land and you want to get acres of land. You want to get acres of land. You don't know if the ground is fertile. You don't know if it's going to be good for planting crops. You don't know what kind of, you need to understand how that land is going to operate when the thunderstorms and the rain come. You need to understand what type of people are in the land. This is what Moses saying right here. He said, and the people that dwell therein. That very first city, those cities that we were going through in this state, on the other side of this state, all right, they had Confederate flags. And it had a big old giant Confederate flag right there. And it was showing me what type of people was in this land right here. And personally, I didn't feel comfortable being in that. I know some people say they feel different about the Confederate flag, all right? But I didn't feel comfortable. My spirit was not making me feel at peace with being around these individuals over here. It showed that they had hatred towards our people, all right? So Moses said, go see the people that's within the land, see who dwells therein, whether they be strong, whether they be weak, or whether they be few or many. So yes, look at the people in the land, whether they're a strong group of people, whether they're a weak group of people. Not that you may be fearful like these leaders of our people did, and they came back and brought an evil report. It's not for you to go back like that. But still, get to discern what type of people are in this area. What type of people what are the inhabitants of the land? The area that I'm in now, I see more of my people here. I see a multicultural group of people here. I feel shalom. I feel peace where I'm at. All right. Let's continue though. Number 19. And Numbers 13 and 19. And what the land is that dwelled and what the land is that they dwell in, whether it be good or bad, what cities they be in that dwell therein, whether they be tents or whether they be strongholds. So go through that area. Check out the city of the people. See what kind of living conditions they in. Are you going to a land or a city that's, dealing with mobile homes and trailer homes and off-grid living? Are you going to a place that has, like a trailer park community? Are you going to a place that you're trying to go to the suburbs where you got, a community housing project where homes are, $200,000 and $300,000? Are you trying to go somewhere where you want to be isolated? Go and pay attention to all these things. Is it somewhere that you could plant a well of living water at? Number 20, and what the land is, whether it be fat or whether it be lean, whether there be wood therein or not. You need some wood, especially if you're living off grid. You're gonna need some wood for some fires. You're not dealing with electricity. You're not dealing with heat. Moses said, go see if there's wood in the land. All right? And be ye of a good courage and bring up the fruit of the land. Now the time was the time of the first grapes. All right? So now we see they went to go search out the land. This is the commandment that the Most High gave Moses, and this is wisdom. The Most High gave Moses Kokamah, wisdom on how to operate as he was getting ready to move into a new location. And I'm sharing the same wisdom with you today. Too many of our brothers and sisters have jumped ship. They have uprooted their families. They have went to places only to regret it. Some people have traveled over the country because they heard someone on YouTube say, you better flee from where you at. You better get up out of there. And they packed everything they went. They went to another country, or they went to another city, or they went to another place, and only to regret it. Numbers chapter 13 and verse 25. And they returned from searching of the land 40 days. I told you the situation that we went through. I went there maybe from the time of 8 to 10 different weekends, it seemed like. Going back and forth, searching out the land. So now, if someone was to ask me about the state that I'm in, and they would ask me, what do you think are the best places that my family can live at? I have a reference point because I've been to all these different cities within this one state that I'm in right now. They did it for 40 days, so imagine how much reference points they had. But they had a different type of spirit upon them, and that was the spirit of fear. And there was only 2 men among them that was able to bring a good report. Therefore, the Most High was so angry at their evil report that he made them wander for 40 years because of their unbelief. If the Most High tells you he has a good land for you, the Most High tells you he has a good place for you, and he tells you the name of that place or the state of that place, it's not for you to start worrying and doubting. Did the emotions of doubt and worry come up to me? They tried to. They tried to. But there was times where I had to stay firm because I was like, this is where Yah wants me to be at. He has a great work for me to do. And man, just so far being down here, the changes, the different scenery, the scene of atmosphere, the shalom that I have, leaving from the place that I was at that felt like a spiritually dead place. Sometimes we're staying in places too long. The Most High wants you to get up and get out of that place. All right, but before you move, though, pay attention to these scriptures right here, all right? So now, we just go to Joshua chapter 2. Not only did the Most High deal with Moses, he dealt with his minister, his servant Joshua, Yehoshua being Nun, all right? Now, let's go to Joshua chapter 2, and we're going to go to verse number 1. It said, and Joshua the son of Nun sent out to Shittim 2 men to spy secretly, saying, go view the land, even Jericho. And they went and came into the harlot's house named Rahab and lodged there. So now, after Moses sent them to spy out the promised land, now Joshua says he needs them. They've already came in, they possessed the land, they're divvying out properties and things of that nature. They got to go in and possess Jericho. They got to go in and subdue it, right? So Joshua follows the same wisdom that the Most High gave to Moses. Joshua follows the same wisdom, which I'm trying to share with you today. All right, Joshua sent 2 men, he didn't send 12, and that's amazing that he sent 2 men, because out of the 12 men that came back the last time, this just coming to me as I'm talking to you, out of the 12 men that came back last time, it was only 2 that brought a good report. So now Joshua maybe have learned from the wisdom that he had to experience. He sent out just 2 men. Joshua sent out 2 men to spy secretly, saying, go and view the land, even Jericho. So Moses is doing it, Joshua is doing it. Go and spy out the land first. This is the advice I'm trying to give to you. Go and spy out the land before you get ready to move it. I know you didn't visit it down there. You done went to vacation to that place. You got friends over there. You got ox. You got a coach. You got brothers and sisters. You know, you feel so wonderful when you're over there. But still, go visit that place a time or 2. Visit it a couple times. Go within the surrounding regions of that area and see if you still feel the same way after visiting multiple times. All right? Go and spy out the land. So, what did Joshua do, though? Because Joshua followed the Torah of wisdom. Now, let's go to Proverbs chapter 20. Let's go to the Torah of wisdom, and let's see what Joshua did. All right? Mishlei, Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 18. It said, every purpose is established by counsel, and with good advice make war. You see that right there? Yehoshua, Joshua, was following the Torah of wisdom. He said, right here, every purpose is established by counsel, and with good advice make war. Now, he was able to get counsel from the individuals that went to go spy out Jericho. You see that? They was able to go and view the land. They came back with a good report. Let me go ahead and go back to that real quick. Joshua chapter 2. Got a little ahead of myself. Sometimes I get too excited when I'm bringing these lessons out. All right. So when you go to Joshua 2 and 23, he said, the 2 men returned and descended from the mountain and passed over and came into Joshua the son of Nun and told him all the things that befell them. And they said unto Joshua, truly Yah has delivered it into our hands, all the land. For even all the inhabitants of the country do faint because of us. You see that? So that's when you go to Proverbs chapter 20:18. Every purpose is established by counsel, and with good advice make war. They was able to go and make war, which they really didn't have to fight, because the Most High stood up for them. They just needed to go blow the trumpets and be obedient. But that plan was able to be established by the counsel of 2 men that went to go spy out a land that they were getting ready to go and possess. You see this? So don't listen to somebody online that's telling you just go about what you feel. All right? And sometimes that can be a valid thing, because as we get to that, I'm going to get to some reasons on why you can leave if you don't even go view the land or spy out the land. But it's only a few things, all right? There's only a few reasons to do that, all right? So, Proverbs, I'm going to go to, let me see something real quick, because there's another one right here in the book of Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 22. It said, without counsel, purposes are disappointed, but in the multitude of counsels they are established. I not only went by the overwhelming good feeling that came up over me and the gut feeling that came, and I just didn't go by all the good times and all the good feelings I had in this state, man. I just love, I ain't gonna lie to you, I love being in the state that I'm in. And I hope nobody don't take this the wrong way, because people say, well, see, you love being in Babylon, you love being where you at, all right? I love being in the place where Yah wants me to be at. Let me say that. And I believe that this is the place that he wants me to be at, so I love the place that I'm in at the present time, all right? But I sought counsel before I moved my family to a whole nother state. I got counsel, just like Joshua got counsel. Moses got counsel from the Most High Yah. Joshua got counsel from these two spies. And I got counsel from my elders and emas and brothers and sisters that cared about me, that was in my close group of people. And I told them about what I was about to do. I told them about the overwhelming feeling that came upon me. I told them about how I felt when I was in this place. I told them about different signs that I felt like the Most High was using to show me that I'm supposed to be in this place. And I went to go get counsel. And a couple of them gave me counsel, and they said, that seems like the place where Yah's leading you to go to. Go to that place. And a couple other of them, they gave me some counsel that was, you know, that was kind of, that wasn't really lining up with what I was feeling. And that's why you got to also be praying to the Most High on who to get counsel from. Because in the book of Sirach, I believe chapter 6, it says, be at peace with many, but have one counselor among 1,000. But because this decision was so important to me, I wanted to make sure that I made the right choice. So I sought out counsel, because I made too many decisions in my past where I did not seek wise counsel, and they came back to smack me in the face, and it made me look like a fool. So I sought out counsel. I viewed the land multiple times. I was able to see what area that I was going to spy out. And the crazy thing about it was, the land that I ended up moving to was the land that I was supposed to go view from the very beginning. Before I went to go see all these other places and go to all these different places, it was right there from the beginning. I made it harder for myself by viewing every place. I felt it in my spirit, in my ruach, on a certain region where I was supposed to go, but I went to go check out all these other places because I just wasn't 100% sure. And that comes with, and I'm going to continue to get better and better at that as I continue to walk with the Most High. Sometimes I get it right, spot on, boom, I get it right. And there's other times where I'm not so sure and I might get it wrong. So like, that comes with more time of walking with Yah, and as well, more and more experience as he continues to grow me in wisdom and knowledge and understanding. All right? Some people say, well, see, why are you talking about wisdom? You just admitted that you need to grow in understanding. We all need to grow in understanding. Even if you're watching this and you're 65 or 70 years old, you still get it wrong sometimes. All right? So I visited all those other places, but I came back to the place where I was supposed to be from the very beginning, and here I am right here today. Hallelujah. All right? So, there are a few indications, a few situations in the scripture where you may not be able to go spy out a land before you move there. All right? You may not be able to go spy out a land. It might be the Most High is not telling you to go spy out land. And it's only a few situations where I can see that happening. But as we can see, the mandate, the wisdom behind it is that you want to go view out the land first, and if you can, multiple times, all right? Ask questions. Ask, do research. Now you can research online. The state that I was in, I was researching the 10 worst cities in this state. I just wanted to know what's up. I got a family I got to raise, So I was digging for information. That's another thing that you do when you're trying to be wise. You start gathering information on different things, different topics. All right, so I drove to the place, I did the research, I asked other individuals that moved from other states what they did, what led them to move, and what kind of signs to look for. I was trying to gather all this information up before I made this big old leap that I was about to take. All right? But a few situations in the scripture. We can go to Genesis chapter 12 real quick. I get ready to wrap this up. I didn't mean for this to be too long. Genesis chapter 12 and verse number 1. And Yah said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house unto a land that I will show you. He didn't even show him what land. He didn't tell him up front where he was about to go. He just said, get up and go. And in situations like that, you don't need to go spy on no land. You don't need to go get counsel from nobody. If the Most High, if you are 1,000% sure the Most High wants you to get up and leave from where you at and go to a land that he shows you, and you can know that for sure, then you need to get up and go then. You don't need to go follow the mandate that Moses and Joshua laid out for us, or that the Most High laid out through them. Get up and go. In this situation, he said to a land that I will show you. And that was kind of similar to how my situation was. I just heard the name of, I just felt the name of a state, and a region within that state, but I didn't know the name of the city. So that's why I was traveling to all these cities, because I didn't know the name of the city. I just knew it was going to be in this certain region within this state. So, you got one incident where if the Most High speaks to you and tell you something, then you got to just go ahead and do it. Another situation, Genesis chapter 19. When you go to Genesis chapter 19, you see it in there as well. You see that the messengers came to Sodom and Gomorrah, and they said in verse 13, for we will destroy this place because the cry is waxing great before the face of Yah, and Yah has sent us to destroy it. If a messenger of Yah come to you, whether that is a messenger from the Shamaim, the heavens, or is one of his earthly messengers, which could be you or I, who he could put his spirit of prophecy on, and then he could speak to one of us and give you a word and tell you that you need to rise up and depart from this place. If that situation happens, then you don't need to go and spy out the land that you're about to go move to. If the Most High is telling you need to get up from where you're about to go, from where you living at right now, I'm about to destroy this place. Some people say that's why you need to hurry up and move out of America, because the Most High is going to destroy Babylon. That's the people that push that doctrine. People are fleeing up out of America because they feel like this is Sodom and Gomorrah. All right? So if the Most High is instructing you and he's giving you some revelation on the city and on the town and on the place that you're at, and that he's about to destroy it, or he's about to destroy some people around you, then you need to get up and flee. Sometimes they're putting warnings on the television, on the weather forecast, and they say that such and such, they give a name of a hurricane or wind or a gust that's supposed to come through and destroy a whole city. In a case like that, you might have to get up and just leave your town without following the mandate that Moses and Joshua followed. You just might have to get up and leave. So in cases like that, yes, you get up and you go. You gotta leave. You gotta have the Most High, be with you as you go from place to place to place. As you're going from these different places, then the Most High will begin to lead you. The Most High will steer your direction. Even when you're driving in your car, the Most High will be with you. Because it's him that's leading you out of those places, not you yourself. So don't be like many of those that have moved to different countries, that have moved to different states, and the Most High did not tell them to leave where they were at in the first place. They moved from those places and they are filled with bitterness and gall. They have squandered money. They have did all kind of things that the Most High did not tell them to do, because they did not follow the wisdom laid out within the book right here. So I'm telling that to you today. All right, I pray that you can understand and feel the passion that's coming from me right now, because I don't want you to make the mistake that so many other people have made. Yes, I know a group of people, they're going to Ghana next year. I might go over there with them to visit first. All right, I have some family members in Tanzania. I am looking and I'm planning to go visit them. But before I make up my decision that I'm going to move over there, and the Most High moved me to this place where I'm at right now, I felt like this was a big move for me, but he may have been getting me prepared to get me to a bigger move. He might have brought me down here to connect me to all the people I need to get connected to or do a certain ministry work before he takes me on to another place. All right? But before I go to, before I decide on moving to Tanzania, before I decide on going to Gambia, before I decide on going to Kikongo, before I decide on going to Ghana, before I decide on going to, Nigeria, I want to visit first. Before I decide to go over to the land of Israel, Tel Aviv, where you say Tel Aviv, where you got to go keep the feast days at. That's what people telling you. That's where the city of David at and all that. Before I decide to move to a place like that, I have to follow the wisdom that the Most High gave to our forefathers, Moses and Joshua ben Nun. Unless the Most High deals with me in a vision, he deals with me in a dream, he shows me some type of sign and tells me that, yes, that is the physical instructions that I have for man to follow, but I want you to go and forsake what you have right now. And if that's the case, then the instructions, I got to put them to the side, and I got to do what the Most High is telling me to do and my family to do at that present time. So prayerfully, this video was a barakah to you, and it shared a lot of wisdom nuggets within it. And if you like this video or any of the other previous videos on the page, click that subscribe button, click the notification button, share this video with as many people as you possibly can, that you can help them prevent a costly mistake that could cost them a whole lot of money, that could cost them frustration and pain and anguish, and they can even question their walk with the Most High. Until the next time we see each other again, I say, shalom, shalom. Yah Barah.